It was my first major, and they made me play on stream. Second game, I won, but I was so nervous. You know what's funny? You bring that up. That's something that I don't think a lot of people realize, is that I think no matter who you are, playing on stream is a little nerve-wracking, especially the first time, right? It's definitely very, very scary. I feel like normal combos and things that are already, like, in tournament, there's already tournament nerves. But playing on stream is like a whole nother beast, especially because like this is going to be on there forever. So they're going to watch you sit up on the stage, unplug your stick, plug it in or whatever, play against somebody, and the commentators are going to be there. It's like, oh man, what are you going to do? Nix Rose says, Bronson put me on stream at NCSS and I wanted to forfeit. It's scary the first time you have to play on stream. So then imagine playing on like the Evo stage, right? Like where you're at this big stage at the end of an arena with like, you can just see a humongous audience right there cheering for you. There's people on the house mics, like 100,000 million people are going to watch the match that you're about to play or whatever, When people in the stream chat are like, how the fuck is this guy dropping all these combos? This guy is missing everything, blah, blah, blah. These people have never sat on the stage and played in the top 8 and felt the nerves kick in and miss something. Right? Like, it happens to everybody. It's one of those things you just have to deal with and get better at. I don't think nerves ever really go away. You just have to get better at playing with nerves as a condition you have to deal with. Like, when I was a wrestler, they never tried to teach us to not get tired. When you're a wrestler, when you do a combat sport, you're going to get tired. The goal is not to try to, not be tired ever. The goal is to perform really well even while you're tired. And I think fighting games are very similar with nerves, right? Like, nerves are never going to go away. When you're going to play on stage, you still have that kind of feeling where you're like, okay, I'm going to play on stage or I'm going to play in a tournament. There's still that nerves that come with it. That's not going to go away. You just have to learn how to play your best while under those conditions. The only way to do it is by playing more and having more experience. I think for me, I played on Evo stream, like on an Evo stream a few times. I played on top 8 stages. Like, it's one of those things you just get used to, where like, okay, I have these nerves. It's always there. And even with the nerves, I'm just used to playing it like normal. Right? That's just how it works. And it works out that Meat House dropped the big 2 months. Thanks very much. Rice says, I always get nervous on stream. I'm more likely to drop my combos even though you play a smaller game. It doesn't matter how big or small or anything. If you're on stream, even if the stream has 5 viewers, 10 viewers, 20 viewers, 1,000 viewers, it's the same thing. AJ says, I did DBFZ pool commentary and it was the hardest shit I've ever done versus just playing on stream. It's funny because there's 2 things I was going to say, right? The first thing I was going to say is Bloodhawk was in here. I was going to say I think Bloodhawk's commentary has improved a lot. I think he's made a super noticeable improvement in commentary. There's not a lot of analytical commentators for Tekken, but I think his energy and his presence has improved quite a bit. And if that's the thing that keeps going up, because the other Tekken commentators have so much presence on the mic, and if that energy continues to climb alongside of his knowledge, I think Bloodhawk will be doing very, very well. I already think you've improved a ton. The second thing I was going to say is someone asked me if I ever get nervous as a commentator, and I always say no. Like, nerves have never really affected me as a commentator. I've never like been somewhere and commentated worse because I was nervous. I don't know if it's because I'm used to being on stages and stuff from playing and from wrestling and from public speaking and stuff like that. Being in front of people doesn't bother me so much. But yeah, I've never like gotten to Evo top 8 commentary and been like, oh shit, okay, I gotta not fuck this up. Or the first time we did TV or anything like that. In fact, I remember one of the times when we did E-League, there was a time where we got there and like 2 hours before the show went live, they were like, hey, Richard's like really sick and he can't like see out of one of his eyes. So he can't host the show. So you're gonna host the show tonight. And I was like, huh? You're not going to commentate tonight. You're going to host the show on television. I was like, okay, do we have time to rehearse this? Or they're like, yeah, we got 1 5-minute rehearsal for the beginning of the show. And then after that, we got to go live. And I was like, okay, sure. Yeah. All right. So I went on there and I was like, hey, everybody, welcome to E-League. I'm your host, blah, blah, blah. We did like this 5-minute rehearsal for one section of like a 2-hour show. And then they're like, okay, that's all the time we have for rehearsal. Please, everybody, we're going to start in 5. And I was like, okay. Let's do it. So then I hosted a show on television. Sometimes, it just be like that. And I wasn't nervous for it either. Well, maybe that's not true. Maybe I was nervous for it, but the nerves never really affected me, right? You feel like the nerves are there, but it doesn't bother me at all. Like, it just exists, and I never feel like it's a problem. And I think the reason I never feel like it's a problem is because I know that I am prepared 100% for whatever's going to happen. Every time I sit down for commentary anywhere, I always feel like I'm just going to perform well because I trust myself in all the research, all the prep time, and all of the just like raw man hours I put into commentary and improving my commentary. I'm always sure it's going to be the best show I've ever done. Always. Even if it's not, I'm always certain it'll be the best show I've ever done. Even if aliens attacked us during the match, hell yeah, I'd be commentating that. I'm like, oh God, his chest is exploding and there's a tail impaling him in the chest and it looks like I see a UFO above. Like, I'll just be good. It's fun. Slight flex. I don't know if it's a flex, but maybe it's just the way that I handle nerves, right? Because I'm telling you, I always think it's going to be the greatest show ever. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's not. But that's the way I feel like it. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel pretty ready for this. There's nothing that I do to like power myself up before commentary. I definitely had some as a wrestler, but there's nothing like that. The main thing, like if you want to know what it's like as a commentator who goes to a tournament, this is what happens. I fly to the tournament. I land. I'm scheduled for a morning block the next day because no one else can be trusted to wake up in the morning. I go to my hotel room and I drop my shit off. I eat. Right? I go out and hang out with people, eat, come back early because I'm going to be commentating in the morning. And I iron my button-up shirts because, that's, to be honest, that's one of the most important parts about the show is ironing your button-up shirts. So you iron your shirts. I wake up the next day. I get coffee in the morning. I get a snack. I go do commentary. How do you bounce off your co-commentator energy-wise if they're new? There's a lot of strategies. Most of the time, my primary strategy is to pump them up. If it doesn't work, or if I sense that another strategy would be better, I rotate. And then just kind of make sure that in the beginning, you set the pace as like positive, like you're great, don't be nervous, everything's gonna be tight, let's hit this. Because you don't know what they're gonna be like, right? So you just gotta kind of go into it. And then you see how they are, and then based on how they are, you react.